Hey everybody, this is a new podcast that we're calling Silicon. It is basically a successor to Phone Pod, which was the last podcast that we did, and I think honestly our last episode was around a year ago, right, Jake?
Yeah, probably.
I want to go ahead and introduce our co-host. So first up is Jake, and then
Hello.
go ahead and introduce yourself. Say hey.
Hi. Yeah, I've been on the phone pod before, and then even the jailbreak jab back
Oh my
those
gosh.
days. Yeah, we wanted to continue the podcast, and I'm Jake from Valley Productions.
Awesome. And then second up is Vince. Vince, what do you do here at iUpdateOS?
I'm the writer at iUpdateOS, and also I've been on one unreleased podcast.
That is right.
Yeah,
We recorded. Oh my gosh, did we record an episode of a podcast? It was like 6 or 7 months ago. Oh my gosh.
It was in October.
Okay.
Wow. Well, anyway, let's get in the show because there is a lot happening, and I don't know. Are you guys excited for WWDC? Don't I can hear the excitement, but keep it down, please.
I'm excited to see basically I want to be surprised, because I feel like there is a lot of rumors that you usually have around every WWDC, and there's quite a bit this time, and especially the fact that there's going to be hardware rumored to be announced this year, and that's a big deal because we haven't had that in several years. They used to do that, like they announced the iPhone 4 at WWDC, but yeah, that's going to be really interesting, and I really hope to see hardware there, and I'm excited to see a couple things. I'm excited to see what iOS 11 is, if it does have changes, but I don't know how many how changed it's going to be, really.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you most excited about, Vince?
I'm really excited to see just what direction they take iOS 11 with, because it has been a few years since they redesigned the interface, and I'm curious to see if they will, and I doubt they will, but I'm curious to see what different improvements they make to it.
I'm exactly on that same boat there.
I am
So just everybody wondering.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you guys what are the new devices that they're rumored to be releasing at WWDC?
Well, I think we've got new MacBooks, right?
Well, not new, but upgraded.
Upgraded.
that's right.
It's the rumor that there's going to be 7th gen Intel processor inside of the MacBooks, which was actually talked about when they released them originally. Like, why weren't the 7th? Yeah, why weren't the 7th gen processors already in there? Because technically, a lot of manufacturers were already doing that, but now we'll have those.
Yeah, it's going to be what is it? The Kaby or KB Lake?
KB Lake.
KB Lake. Okay. Well, it's pretty exciting. It's gonna. I think across the board, it's kind of like a minor speed upgrade. I don't think it's gonna be. It's not gonna be like the 2016 MacBook Pro that people were waiting for and that we're super excited.
If you already have a 2016 MacBook Pro, it's not going to be worth the upgrade.
Yeah, this is our review. Not worth it.
We know for a fact.
Is there there's the new iPad Pro.
Okay,
What is that? The 10.5 inch.
This is interesting because I actually sold my 9.7 inch iPad Pro in preparation for this event. Because I am really excited. Like, I'm going to get the 10.5 inch iPad Pro. Number one, you get to make a video. Like, that's my excuse and rationalization for buying everything. It's just like video. I mean, I'll make what, $3 back in ads at most, but I get to use the newest devices. So I don't know. The 10.5 inch iPad's interesting because it's one of those products that I think we've seen a case leak or two, but we haven't actually seen anything.
What design it'll take, yeah.
Yeah, there's been some concepts that look super sexy. I think a limited bezel iPad in general would be incredible, and I think it would fit kind of in the gap between the 9.7 inch iPad Pro and the 12.9 inch iPad Pro that are currently out. But it's exciting because WWDC in general this year is something that we don't know a lot about, and I'm sure you're going to hear that again and again from everyone. We've heard about a lot. We've heard that there's MacBooks coming, but we don't know exactly what it's going to be. We know that there's going to be software upgrades, but we don't know what's in the software upgrades, and it's terrifying for me because I don't know what to expect that day. but it's also super exciting because I think it's going to be a big event overall.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be a more exciting event because although software is interesting, it's not interesting when it's just like minor upgrades. So like
iOS 11 will likely be.
Yes, exactly.
Minor upgrades, so they have to supplement the excitement with actual new devices.
Yeah, with actual hardware, because in which there is quite a bit of hardware that hopefully is going to be announced here.
They've also got then the Apple or the Siri speaker.
Dude, if you don't
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Now, can we talk about this? Because I don't really know. I don't know about this speaker because we've heard now that it's supposed to come at WWDC as well. But do either of you guys even own like a smart assistant at home right now?
No.
I do. I have an Alexa in my room and in my living room.
Okay.
You have two?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have to say, like Vince has, I feel like I see a lot of people with Amazon Echo Dot. Not the full Echo, but the dots. Like I feel like I actually
just as functional.
Oh yeah. I feel like I actually do see those quite a bit actually.
Mm-hmm. One thing I haven't seen is a Google Home, and somebody in the chat just mentioned that. I'm not sure how well Google Home is doing, but I think it's safe to say that Amazon and Alexa are kind of at the top because they were there first.
I gotta say that Alexa speaker, like the full sized one, it is pretty nice because our friend Max has that, Sam, and I when we got to play around with that, like it sounds good, and it's like as a speaker it actually sounds good, and it's I really like that one.
Yeah, so
I've heard that Apple is pricing their speaker higher, and they're planning to make it a lot higher quality of an actual speaker that also talks and does all the AI stuff.
Apple is?
Yes, Apple is their Siri speaker should be more of like a speaker as well as an AI.
Okay. So it's more focused on the speaker,
which
makes
sense.
Good listening experience.
Yeah,
that really excites me.
Yeah, like because if they were going to advertise it as everything, they would have to do a lot more work with Siri because as compared as it's been talked about before, that Siri is lacking or farther behind products like Alexa and Google now, or the Google Assistant.
I agree. Siri is in such a weird, oh gosh, she's just not. Oh my god, I just don't even want to talk about it. She's just so bad compared to everyone else.
I really like since they introduced her. Who?
Do you feel like Siri's pretty bad for what she is?
I mean, I feel like since they were the first to introduce like the talking AI, and they just haven't. It's like Google and I don't want to bring Cortana into this, but as other companies have done that, and so I think that they've done a poor job at making new features and making it better. Yeah. And now companies are like Google and Alexa, they're catching up and they're getting ahead.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right because they really did. Like they came in and Siri was the first assistant. Like I mean, I'm sure there were others, but she was the first one that really caught on. And I feel like Apple just, not that they stopped caring, but they stopped trying to innovate Siri. Right. And going back to iOS 11, that's what we're supposed to see this year as an upgrade. But
at first, like with the other assistants when they're being created.
Jake, you there?
Oh, did I cut off?
Cut out.
Yeah, you dropped off.
Sorry. With Siri when she was first created and came shortly after, I feel like they kind of were all on the same level, even though people were saying that they were better. I feel like they're all on the same level, and then as time has gone on, obviously, the other assistants have gotten new features integrated within their OS that have made them more popular.
When was the last time Apple put in a ton of new features into Siri? Google just relaunched their whole Google Home thing. Like the Google Assistant isn't entirely new thing. Apple hasn't done that really since they launched Siri.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like even with the other ones, I think really they won't be used by everybody unless they had really compelling new features, which is something that Apple could do with the introduction of the Siri speaker, or they could go with the route that obviously people are rumoring about, where it's more focused on the speaker part than Siri.
Will you guys be buying a Siri speaker?
No, because I already have the Alexa.
Okay. What about you, Jake?
No.
Yeah, it's priced. Do you know what it's priced at, Sam?
We don't. I don't think that they've settled
like,
on a price.
I think the rumored price is like mid-200s.
I could see the Apple doing that. I mean, I think if they pack quality hardware inside, in addition to having, like, it's also been said that it might have a screen. I think if they can do that, like what Amazon's going to do with the Echo Show when it's released, if they can do that and actually integrate software where you could like read text, and they upgrade Siri to where she's learning and she's more intelligent and she can have sort of a conversation, I think that they would have a good shot at actually doing well, because you have to remember they've got the HomeKit stuff in the background, and I like the way HomeKit works more than Amazon Alexa's integration does.
This could be like an introduction to basically smart homes.
Exactly.
If it goes in that route. Which,
I mean, if Apple can integrate like they will.
I feel like with first generation, they might not try to push that. But as a future product, I feel like they could take it in that direction.
But I think you have to look at what Samsung did with Bixby. They marketed it, and I know it hasn't come out in the US yet. They really screwed the pooch on that one. But they marketed it as something that can connect to your entire home. And people have Samsung appliances in their houses, like Samsung stoves, fridges, TVs. Nobody has like Apple fridges. And so I wonder how would they really integrate that into more than just like changing the thermostat.
True. Yeah.
I think that if Apple does this right and they do it well, I think they have a chance at kind of putting a dent in the industry. I mean, they have a chance with
anything they do just because they're Apple, and people will buy it.
People, poor YouTubers like me will buy it.
There's no slight. Like, Apple makes good products, but they can pretty much do whatever they want, and people will buy it.
That's true.
All right. I think now it's time to get to iOS 11, which has been discussed rampantly in the chat so far.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
You're the iOS history buff. When was the last... iOS 7 was the last major redesign, correct?
2013.
2013. So it's been 4 years. Do you honestly think that we could see a new refresh design?
I don't know. I really want to see it. I think it's possible. I think we could see an iOS 11 redesign. But
I'm just not... I feel like if we were to see something, we'd hear more about it.
We would have already heard about it.
Yes.
I mean,
we heard about it with it was like people were basically expecting it with iOS 7.
Because there was the rumor came out, I think, months in advance that it was going to be flat design, but nobody really knew what that meant. And we didn't really, if you remember, the day before WWDC 2013, 9to5Mac obtained this exclusive image of a months earlier version of the iOS 7 beta before it was even like a rumor. And that was the first time we actually saw what it was going to look like. It was either the morning of the keynote, like a few hours before, which is hilarious, or it was a day or two before. Very short time period. But I think the reason that we're not hearing anything this year is because Tim Cook was like, I'm going to double down on secrecy. And I think he has. I mean, the Apple Watch didn't leak before it was announced. That came out of nowhere. The iPhone 8, I mean, it's going to be in a supply chain. You're going to have issues, but like the Siri speaker, we haven't seen anything. The new iPad, we haven't seen anything. Apple's software has literally been non-existent, except for a few rumors, which we should probably go into now. How do you like that transition?
I was smooth as butter.
Thank you very much. Smooth as iOS. So, iOS 11, number one and number two features that we can expect are... Well, Mark Gurman says that we can see some sort of a redesign, which is what we've been referencing, and he doesn't say how extensive. Yeah, he doesn't say how extensive it will be, but he says a redesigned version of iOS. I don't even think he knows what it's gonna be. I think it's just gonna be major amount. It's gonna be one of those two. I don't think they're gonna go in between. I think it's gonna be a big update, or they're gonna minorly tweak some things.
It's gonna be iOS 10.4 basically.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm worried that that's gonna happen, but
I think that we'll never see. I think what I would like to see is a redesign of the app icons, which I like. I know that we probably aren't going to see, but ever since I've seen iOS 7, I hated them at first, and they obviously grew on me. I got used to them. I mean, it's been quite a while since we've had 4 years. So I don't care anymore. But like, if I still look at them closely, I just kind of go, what? It's just not.
So let me ask you this about icons. Do you think that Apple, either this year, next year, or sometime in between, do you think they'll open up the ability to change more app icons? Because I know, Sam, you did a video a couple, probably months ago at this point, about the MLB and the NHL app, and you could change the app based upon like your favorite team.
Oh, that's cool.
Do you think Apple could open that up to more apps than just MLB and NHL? Or do you think they're going to stick to the locked down version that they've kept for their eternity?
I think they'll always keep down their lockdown version because that's just how Apple is. They don't like people messing with their software.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can take that all the way back to the original Macintosh.
Sam, what do you think?
I don't think we'll be seeing a. What am I trying to say? I don't think that we're going to see the ability to like change your icon, because honestly, like any developer can give you the option to change their app icon.
Right.
A writing app that I really enjoy called Bear just recently updated their app with, I think it was introduced in iOS 10.3 where you could change your app icon. And I think it's a great idea. The only problem is I really want to see it on stock apps. And like on Android, I want to see icon packs for iOS. I mean, Apple always touts how much they give developers, billions of dollars, I think a year, not billions or hundreds of millions. It's a lot of money either way. And I feel like they could expand that to icon packs or wallpapers and make not only people so much happier, but bring in additional revenue not only for themselves, but for developers as well, and to stir up the economy. And like, I think it would be a great move. Sure, you could get some really bad looking icon packs. And I think Apple and Johnny Ive have a problem with bad looking design. I mean, that's their whole thing. But I would make icon pack videos. I would promote them.
The Tweak Store.
I know.
Okay, so what if instead of icon packs, Samsung has something called like Samsung Things or themes?
Yeah.
Where you can set like a dark mode on your phone or like a light mode or whatever, and it would change the icons, change like the notification center, change basically every single part of your phone. Would you expect to see that anytime soon?
Once again, I feel like we won't. But like in terms of, obviously we've seen it been able to be done by jailbreaking.
I mean, it's not like impossible. It's definitely
it's definitely there. Like, and also it was that was always Steve Jobs' vision, was the whole lockdown thing. So like, I think maybe Apple would eventually, like you said, Sam, if it became something where you were charging for themes, I feel like it would totally work, because then you have people who want to actually actively make good themes.
Then you create a market for it, and it creates demand.
Then they would sell well, because you're making premium themes, because obviously you need to make premium themes, so they would sell well. And then you have a market, and then there's money that inflows, and then there's more money out for Apple. So yeah, that would be very interesting to see. I would love that. I would definitely buy a couple themes myself if that existed. I would totally buy themes.
Just an easy way to change up the way your phone looks every once in a while, because I'm definitely somebody who loves to be able to do that.
Exactly.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that would be incredible. And another redesign that we're also supposed to be seeing is with the music app. Apparently, in an interview with, I think Jimmy Iovine of Apple Music with Bloomberg, he said he actually mentioned that in the next version of iOS, or somehow Bloomberg got intel that the next iOS version would have a redesigned music app. And it's funny because the music app gets redesigned
always trying to redesign the music app.
It seems like it.
They can never get
every year. With iOS 7, I think they added the radio functionality, and then iOS 8 they redesigned it again, and then 8.4 was when Apple Music came out, and then 9 they changed it again, and then 10, they're not happy with the music app, and it's ever changing and ever evolving. And honestly, right now I like the way it looks.
I like the design of it. I like the way it looks. Yeah.
I actually really like how it looks, and one thing I would not change at all is the now section. There's the thing where people are saying that the letter should have the outline behind it that's blurred. Yeah, that's cool. That would be a cool addition. But other than that, I love the now playing view.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It really is. It's definitely the most beautiful it's looked. Now, in terms of the rest of the app, though, as someone who does not use Apple Music, it's really unfair to have all your stuff under a single tab, and it's really cluttered. It's compared to how it used to be, where obviously your playlists were at the bottom bar, your albums were at the bottom bar. Now you're stuck on one tab, going back and forth between one screen on each, on the single tab, the library tab on the left side, which I really don't think I understand you want to make people use Apple Music, but I really don't think that's a good solution. That's kind of a in-your-face solution.
That's kind of like taking the headphone jack out of a phone to make people buy your headphones.
Yeah, exactly.
Who would do that?
Too real. Hey, AirPods are great. If anyone is considering buying them, they are. I'm wearing them right now as we're recording, and they are the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I love AirPods, but it's just Apple has a way of making you buy them.
Hey, I like them. Keep it up, Tim Cook. Don't listen to the haters.
I actually I do think that the Bluetooth headphones are the future, but I have an iPhone
on the unreleased version of this.
Yeah, and I do.
It was the future.
Yeah, just not that you have to take away the port to make it the future, because I have an iPhone 6s with a headphone jack, and I have Bluetooth headphones. And I use them.
Yeah, I love
and then sometimes I use the headphone jack too. Yeah.
Phoenix has a good point, is that there's tons of Bluetooth headphones out there. AirPods aren't just the only ones. I personally use a pair of the Jaybird X2s, and I love those for working out, for running, for doing pretty much anything.
Yeah, I have the
X2s. They stay in my ear and they work.
Yeah, they're great. I really do love them.
So you guys are both Jaybirds users.
Yes.
Are they good?
Yeah,
they're not as good as the AirPods. They don't sound as nice.
You don't think they sound interesting? Okay.
But the AirPods just have a little bit more punch to me. I feel like I think the price difference is $100 or it's $50, and I just feel like that's not really worth it, especially since I do have an Android phone. So I wouldn't be able to use all of the extra features that come with a pair of AirPods.
Yeah, that's very true.
I want to try your AirPods again, Sam.
If
even though I do have
one in each ear and see.
I have, even though I do have I have the Jaybird X3s, so I'm sure they sound a little bit better, but I wouldn't think they sound that much better.
Yeah, just marginally better.
So yeah, I might have to try that out again. The reason I thought I love the idea of the AirPods. Just I tried Sam's on, and I could just turn my head 3 times and they'd fall out. But that was just me, and I know that stay way better in some other people's ears. But yeah, that was just me.
Yeah. Somebody actually asked about Beats by Dre. So I have the Beats Solo 3s because, you can't sell them on Amazon because Amazon just doesn't let you, because I guess there's been a problem with fakes. So I've got the Beats Solo 3s. Actually, one of the first days in September after they were announced at the iPhone 7 keynote, and I really like them. Like, they're great over-the-ear headphones. Just, I think the way my head is shaped, they kind of give me a headache. And I don't know if you've experienced that with some over-the-ear headphones, but they just...
On-ear headphones?
Yeah, they squeeze
It'd
my...
be on-ear.
Is it on-ear?
Yes, because over-the-ear is like the Bose QC35s.
Yeah. Where it
like nothing, it doesn't pinch your ears. It just kind of sits around your ear.
I mean, that's close to how I guess on-ear is correct, but...
On-ear is like where it doesn't like in-cup your ear, where it's like completely like a cup.
Like your ear is sitting inside of the foam.
Yeah.
Rather than just in between your head and the foam.
Yeah, the Solo 3s are good, though. I mean, they sound great. They have good sound. I know there's a lot of Beats haters out there, but I've never had... I'm not an audiophile, so I don't know what the standard is.
Beats haters are audiophiles. Like, if you go up to random people like a blind test will get you the Beats, because those sound pleasant to people. They don't sound accurate, though.
There's certain, like... You have certain setups of sound... I forget what they're called.
Like equalizers?
Yeah, different equalizers where some people just, where you have in the mids, the highs, and the lows. Beats have a particular setup, especially with higher lows, where people in this day and age, they like that equalizer setup, and that's what people gravitate towards.
Yeah, for sure.
I personally like more of a balanced sound, but yeah.
True. All right, back to iOS 11. So in addition
how did we
to...
get to this point?
I'm so sorry. I should have never mentioned AirPods.
Yeah, that took everybody for a ride.
So in addition to a redesigned music app and hopefully a big OS redesign, we've heard about group FaceTime.
Oh, really?
How long have you heard about group FaceTime, though?
How many years? About 7 years now.
Yeah, so what makes you think this is the year that it comes?
So there's a new site that came up with these two this rumor and then the one after. They're called the Verifier, and they're an Israeli site that says they have connections in Apple's supply chain. And apparently Apple does have, I actually looked this up, they have some teams in Israel working on either, I think, Siri or a couple of other projects. So it makes sense that they could have some connections. It wasn't just like, yeah, we're a Russian team. Apple has no one working in Russia. Like, that wouldn't make sense. But I think that this is going to happen. I think group FaceTime is going to happen. I think it should have happened around the time it was announced. Like, it should have just been there always.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to finally have the FaceTime quality with a Skype mechanism where you can have multiple people on the same call. Do you guys use FaceTime a lot?
No.
So I use Google Duo because it just works with Android, and then it also works with iPhones.
Is that the app that they announced like last year? Was it where they announced the two messaging apps? Okay.
Yeah, the Google Allo and Google Duo.
Yeah.
And I love it. It works pretty much just as well as FaceTime. It just doesn't, like, you can't call somebody straight from your messaging.
Okay, that's good to know. I'll have to try it out.
I definitely vouch for Google Duo.
Okay. Right. Google Duo, I'll add that to the docket.
I'm sure it's better than Skype.
Yeah, Skype is just bad.
Can you use Google Duo on desktop? Is it something you can access on the web?
No.
Okay.
It connects via your phone number.
Okay.
So it's just, you set in your phone number and they could like text people, hey, join me on Google Duo or whatever.
Okay.
Cool. So we got group FaceTime in the pipeline. I have a feeling that's going to happen. I feel like it's time, and FaceTime was introduced back in 2010. So, I mean, actually 7 years later, hopefully it will come true. And then in addition to that, we're also said to see the Siri upgrades, which I hope happen because Siri is...
How many years have you heard about those?
Well, every year.
There's always been incremental upgrades, but not major. Like...
Nothing to get you excited over Siri again.
What has me convinced this year is the Siri speaker rumors. I would have zero hope if they weren't talking about making a speaker. But Apple, I think Apple's self-aware enough to realize that Siri cannot be they cannot make a product based around her. and sell it how
They're
she is
so
right
far
now.
behind that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're going to upgrade everything, and I think it's going to pay off in the end. And I'll definitely be picking up a Siri speaker if one comes out. But
I do think though, for some reason, like, I think that they won't. I don't think they're gonna announce it at WWDC. I really do think that they'll wait till the event later next year to announce.
Later next year or this year?
Or this year. I don't know why I said next year.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening as well. Siri, please get upgraded.
And that's something they're talking about in the chat, is that we have so much that we're expecting between a new iOS, new iPads, new speaker, new MacBook Pros. Like, how much of this stuff is actually going to be released in 4 days? I would guess very little of it.
Yeah, I have high hopes.
Here's what I think. I think we'll see the new MacBook Pros and the new iPads, and obviously iOS 11.
And then iOS 11.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
See
I mean, there's
the
been
Siri speaker.
Rumors of the speaker have picked up quickly. Yeah, rumors of those have picked up really quickly, especially over the last month.
Okay.
But again, you could say that about everything. So
I like how
I doubt all of this will be released.
I do have to shout out the guy in the chat. I love how that his comment about it. His name is The Realist. I love that is next to that. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I have high hopes. After that, so this is a quick and interesting story. So I start my day by waking up, checking Twitter to make sure nothing urgent happened overnight. And then I also usually browse the Apple subreddit, so reddit.com/r/Apple. And I noticed either during the middle of the day or sometime when I checked, there was this post that said, like, iOS 11, what to expect, or these iOS 11 features are coming. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, we haven't heard anything. I'm sure somebody leaked it to 9to5Mac, Mac Rumors, TechnoBuff. I mean, someone with some merit, The Verge, that had info. And then I clicked on it, and it was just some random guy named CyanHat. And he posted this very long and pretty detailed text post. And he said, first off, it was going to be group FaceTime. Then there was going to be, peer-to-peer Apple Pay, which would be really weird. So you would be able to do it like PayPal or Venmo.
That'd be nice.
That would be really cool to pay through Apple Pay. And then
it's really, really simple, yeah.
People lost their minds when he said, oh yeah, and by the way, the default calling method in iOS 11 is going to be FaceTime audio, not cellular towers, but like you will be calling someone over FaceTime audio.
So help me with this, because what is the difference between that and something like Wi-Fi calling, which I have on Verizon with my Galaxy S7?
That's the same thing, right?
It's basically the same thing. It's calling over Wi-Fi.
It's basically
or
the same
data,
thing,
I guess.
Is Wi-Fi calling though a creation standard? What? Is Wi-Fi calling a creation of Google, or is it an actual standard?
I believe it's a standard.
Cell networks. Interesting. Okay.
What's weird is I don't know. That's a good question about FaceTime audio versus Wi-Fi calling. I believe FaceTime audio, the way it was proposed to work, or I think the way it does work, is it uses your actual data. So I think like even if you were, I think FaceTime audio would work through Wi-Fi, but unlike Wi-Fi calling, like when you go off your Wi-Fi, the way things are now, it uses cell towers. The way FaceTime audio would work is you would technically be using data to make a phone call when you're not on Wi-Fi, which would obviously be controversial for people who have data limits. I think people would be confused why calls sound modern, because as you know, when you make a phone call, it's still very muffled.
Oh my gosh.
It sounds like someone has a...
When I make a FaceTime call, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't expect this. Like every time. Like I'm like, oh my God, this sounds so good.
I just don't call people. So I don't know how bad it is.
Yeah. So FaceTime audio, I'm not expecting
get your hopes
that.
up?
Yeah. I'm not expecting FaceTime audio.
No.
For the default call.
Not expecting it to be the default.
Also, FaceTime audio obviously only works between other iOS devices right now, because they don't use that would be interesting, because at some point they're probably going to have to switch to, or I guess the standard of Wi-Fi calling and maybe they might call it the same thing, or I don't know how. That'll be interesting to see how they sort that out.
They're definitely gonna have to switch it up. And then finally, this is the part that I think would be the coolest, but apparently this person who got the info said it could be delayed. I don't know. So long story short, this post was on Reddit, and then like 12 hours after it was posted, it just disappeared out of thin air. And you can go to the link, and it just says this post has been removed. So I don't, and a lot of people were calling it faked. So I don't know if someone debunked it. Someone was like, "This guy's in Georgia. How does he get this information?" Because I don't know. Reddit people are crazy. They can find you anywhere somehow based on a corner of a frame of a photo that you posted once on Twitter. Like the community goes through these outrageous lengths to find where someone is from. But apparently this guy's from Georgia, and they're like, "There's no way. Apple doesn't have anything in Georgia. There's no way he would have gotten this." But the last thing that he mentioned was an intelligent low power mode that would basically, the example that this, I don't even know if it's a gentleman, the example that this person used was that if you left your Wi-Fi, your phone would go in low power mode because it knows and assumes that you don't have a car charger, that you're away from a power source. So when you're in the car, it'll go on low power mode. When you return to Wi-Fi, you have a power source like a wall adapter again, and low power mode would go off, which I think would actually be really useful.
Yeah. Wait. So when does it activate?
If you would leave Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
So it'll take into account a bunch of things. So if it has like a weak signal or whatever, it'll shut down different parts of the phone, or it'll pretty much just determine what you're doing and if you're near an outlet. And I think part of the reason that that got a lot of traction is because it could happen. All the stuff that he mentioned could be new features in iOS 11, and it's not completely unrealistic to think about them.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
That definitely.
Especially, Sam, in your Galaxy S8 review, you mentioned how Samsung's battery, like their battery technology, is just light years ahead of Apple's, making the similar sized battery last a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's kind of interesting because Apple's always generally been at optimizing their software for their hardware, so that is definitely something that they should work on.
They could look into,
yeah.
I agree. It's gosh, I mean, I don't know. The more we talk about this, the more there is to announce on stage. I've noticed today Apple shared some stats about developers that would usually take up keynote slides, and they shared it like a few days early, like that they paid out that much to developers.
Enough space.
Yeah. So I think that they're going to announce a lot. But that's basically iOS 11 right now. Like we've said a million times, like we don't know. The only two things that I would bet on for sure is some sort of a redesign, whether it's major or minor, and also that the music app's going to look different, because that's from Bloomberg, and Mark Gurman is not wrong often. Like when he publishes something, he is certain that it's going to happen. We just don't know how detailed.
It would make sense from a standpoint. There are inconsistencies. I mean, we have apps that are outlined entirely in Helvetica, and then we have the music app that's just like bold lettering, and I think, as you remember when it was originally coming out, Apple Music, Sam, you were kind of confused as to the fact that why that it looked like that. Like people were kind of like, okay, like they weren't expecting it to be like looking different compared to the rest of the app.
Well, that's what's so crazy about the music app right now, along with, let's see, music. I'm trying to find, music and maps now match, where they've got these, I think what is a great design, lots of transparency, lots of layering, lots of bold fonts that I like a lot. And then you go to the phone app and it looks like iOS 7. And then you go to photos and it looks like iOS 7, or camera, or clock, or reminders, or health, that use that old design language. The news app is also a great example of these bold fonts. It's just strange that Apple did it to certain apps. It's almost like two different OSs running in the same place. One uses a super bold, punchy design, and then you've got apps that they didn't touch, like phone, camera, settings that look
weird,
old. So I could see them, hopefully, if everything goes right, they'll use bold fonts across the board. Like in settings, it'll be redesigned. It's going to be beautiful. The views on YouTube will come in like rain and water.
Oh man.
No, I have high hopes for iOS 11 though. I think it'll be dope.
Yeah, I have high hopes for WWDC. I hope Apple doesn't disappoint with all the anticipation that they built up.
That is being built up by rumors.
Yeah.
I do definitely think it's going to be a more exciting WWDC than the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's got to be with everything that we've heard.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot that's going to happen. So stay locked and loaded on iUpdateOS for the latest coverage. I hear that they do an okay job of covering Apple events. So
He hasn't, ever live streamed it. I'm sure that he wouldn't get in trouble for that. So
yeah, I mean, just putting the same stream up like that wouldn't.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you
that?
Did I ever tell you the story about how Apple took down one of my videos?
No.
The copyright strike?
Yeah, it's actually a funny story. I don't think Vince has heard it, and I don't think a lot of...
It's really dumb. I can't believe this happened.
Well, it makes 100% sense now that I think about it. So
how long ago was this?
This was 2014, so the strike has expired, and I'm back in perfect standing with YouTube. But so in 2014, it was the day that Apple Music launched, so it was iOS 8.4. And it was either iOS 8.4 or it was iOS 8.4. There wasn't a 9.4. And so Beats One, Apple's always on 24/7 radio station, just started up, and I was like,
"Oh, that one."
Yeah. So it was in testing phases, and there was a part where I think Zane Lowe, I want to say is his name, who is one of the main Beats One hosts. You heard him going test 1 2, making sure that the mic is on right now. Test, and I recorded it on my phone. And then put an image over it and upload it to YouTube, and I called it Beats One pre-launch chatter because I just thought it was kind of interesting to hear.
Yeah.
This is before a monumental thing that Apple was working on went live, and I had it monetized because for some reason I thought that was okay to just put it up and monetize it. Naive YouTube mistake, and then it quickly got demonetized about I think maybe a week later at the very most. And then I was like, okay, it's just demonetized. Obviously that's okay. I'm not getting any benefit from it except views,
what usually would happen to them. That's usually what happens. It just gets demonetized and then they make the profits off.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, all right, we're all good. Obviously they said I don't need to take it down.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I get an email that says YouTube copyright strike notification, video taken down. And I'm like, what is happening?
I just imagine little 15-year-old Sam freaking out.
Dude, I was shook.
Yeah, you were like, I'm never doing anything.
Buy the book from now on.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, to this day, I am very, very careful about any strict Apple content. I do not use any. I notice a lot of YouTube channels will use official iPhone 7 videos when they're talking about iPhone 8 rumors, the official white background first overview announcement video that gets uploaded to YouTube. And I stay away. I do not want to get mixed up with the Apple police because it literally said taken down by Apple, and I was like, well, at least somebody at Apple saw my videos.
It really did say by Apple.
Somebody saw my video.
I mean, it's got to be worth something.
That's amazing. I actually didn't know that. I thought it was from some third party thing that takes care of that stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it said.
Well, I'm sure it was. Tim Cook did not see your video. They didn't bring it up.
Well, I'm not saying. Yeah, obviously, but
Mr. Cook. We have a problem.
I would have expected to be something something random blah 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 media group took claimed copyright on your video
how songs the studio makes the song
something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Cook, we have a problem.
Yeah.
This 15-year-old boy uploaded a video.
Mr. iUpdateOS. This is broken our copyright strike.
Tim swivels in his chair and the fireplace is revealed and just says,
with
destroy
the
him.
Cheshire cat.
Yeah, he's got a cat on his lap. Oh my gosh.
They're gonna take down this video.
Yeah, seriously, they know that I was inside the new Apple Park headquarters. Speaking of which, have you guys seen their incredible new headquarters?
Oh yeah, the evil evil lair that they have created?
I have seen videos. Yeah.
Is that
The
not
ground,
beautiful?
the ground opens up in the middle, and a giant rocket launches out of the middle.
I mean,
It does
is
look gorgeous.
absolutely stunning.
Yeah,
They are. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it's just beautiful.
Also, isn't it like a part of their initiative?
They're
Every
like
single
green
one of
initiative. Yeah.
Yeah, every single one of their campuses on the grid. Like, that's pretty crazy. Like, they're gonna take all of their it's gonna be run power system. That's kind of scary when you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a photo of it right now that's actually on the live stream on YouTube if you want to check it out. It's just incredible. I mean, it looks like a spaceship.
So look at this, and then go Google an image of Tesla's Gigafactory, and look at the comparison between the two, and it's just crazy how much more stuff is on the Apple park.
Yeah,
Tesla's Gigafactory looks like a prison in the middle of a desert.
It does.
I mean, the Tesla Gigafactory, though, this is it right here.
It's not designed to be the same thing, but it's just like one of their a major building that they're doing.
Yeah, it's just massive. It is just a manufacturing behemoth.
Yeah, I can't wait for Tesla to take off.
Yeah,
the next couple of years, Tesla will be one of the top car companies. Once the 3 comes out, I think that's when Tesla really, really will.
I think so too. The Tesla Model 3, I mean, $35,000 for an electric car, that's a recipe.
Especially one as good as Tesla, with the name that Tesla has.
It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to put down my deposit. Sorry, that was just me daydreaming.
You heard it here first, guys. Sam confirmed to get a Tesla.
What is it? 3 years from now, we'll have a Model 3 video.
Yeah. Well, we have to get it by the senior year of college, so 2 years, or 3 years from now, basically, we will be driving a Model 3 somehow. I hope. That'd be dope. Or Model S P100D.
No.
Slightly more expensive.
No.
Oh my gosh. Well, is there anything else happening at WWDC that we should discuss? I mean, I know we have new versions of macOS, tvOS, watchOS, but we don't know anything.
I guess last year was their big macOS thing because obviously Siri was in it. So I guess we won't see anything big from, the operating system that drew me to Apple in the first place that they kind of forgotten about and don't care about anymore. That's fine, but
Dude, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
they have paid a lot less attention to the Mac for sure. Like, there's no question that they have put the Mac in the background as they have pushed the iPhone and iOS 11 forward.
What about? Do you think the iPad is coming up anytime soon? I know there was rumors of the virtual keyboard a couple days ago, and how maybe that won't make its way to the new MacBooks, but definitely could be on the like an iPad cover. So do you think that Apple's pushing more towards iPad Pro users more than just MacBook Pro users?
I think so.
I mean, their ad campaign when they initially launched the iPad Pro would definitely say that.
Yes.
Because they were like, you don't need a desktop to do everyday tasks, which they are completely right. I totally understand why they would push tablet touchpad keyboard interfaces as the setup as the future, because unless you're somebody who is going to be needing computers to do high intensive resource tasks, you don't really need that. You don't need a laptop to watch YouTube videos, obviously.
No, you can definitely get by. It's how Google's Chromebook. Yeah, that's how they've made their money there, is by selling cheap laptops that
for sure. You can, and if you're just for most high school, definitely.
Oh yeah.
College experiences, and you can get by with just a Chromebook. Because
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, you because most people nowadays, they stream their music. They use stuff like Google Docs to do their documents. and they stream like videos online. It's all done online now. So
Internet, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, boys, are we ready to wrap it up?
I think so.
Yeah.
This has been WWDC 2017.
It's a big week ahead. 4 days now, right? Is it 4?
Yep.
Yeah, 4
June
days.
5th. 4 days, almost 3.
We had a good conversation. Got a lot off our chests about WWDC.
This is bogging you down.
Thank you for this. Thank you for this group therapy. I can finally sleep tonight.
Yeah.
After a year.
Oh wait, I saw it. Where'd it go? It was his comment in the chat. I need to find it.
Well, in the meantime,
Sam,
let's look ahead. What do you think is going to happen in October when they release the iPhone 8?
Oh man, iPhone 8 OLED screen.
A whole other conversation.
Fingerprint sensor on the front.
That fingerprint sensor better be on the back of on the front of the phone.
Yeah, I was about to correct
you. Ruben, they released the Essential phone, and they did the way they had the camera cut out in the front of the phone, the front selfie camera. A lot of people are suggesting that Apple could take that route too, where they kind of have like a little black bar at the top and then screen on each side of it. How do you guys feel about that design?
Where you're saying a little black bar on top,
and that black bar would house like the camera and the speaker. Yeah, and then you'd have like a screen real estate on each side of it.
Oh, okay. I think I would get used to that. It would be a little weird at first. I could see just like a tiny, like basically the same thing as a Galaxy S8.
Well, here,
except that bezel at the top is even smaller.
Search up a picture of the Essential phone.
The Essential phone?
It's really weird looking.
You just type in that in and go to images. And you can, like, it goes top to bottom, all screen. The camera and, like, a little black bar at the top, and then they have a little bit of bezel at the bottom.
What's it called?
The Essential phone. And just
yes.
This thing.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that design right there?
I kind of like it. I think it looks
I really dig it.
Ooh, that camera.
And it's definitely, you could easily get over that camera.
I could get used to that, I think. I mean, for videos, I guess it would play above
it would play a black bar at the top by the notification area, but
like I definitely like how Samsung handles the videos, where it kind of like expands it and it just kind of melts over the edges. I actually really wouldn't mind watching videos like that. Instead of the black bar thing, but like I kind of I would get used to this probably, but I like more of it's just a super tiny bezel at the top with a camera in it, and it goes all the way across. I would be okay with that.
Jake, did you ever find that comment?
I did. It was Carlito. He asked if Pauler. I am not Jake Pauler. I don't know who that is, but I hope it's somebody important on YouTube.
I hope you find Jake Pauler.
Well, sweet. Right. That is going to wrap up our show for today. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. This is episode 1 of Silicon. The name stems from the fact that, well, that's what all of our devices run on. Just this little part of our little chip
Silicon
everything
microchips.
It's incredible. Well, hey, thank you all for watching. If you're listening to this on iTunes, we would really appreciate a review. You can leave one on iTunes. That would be amazing. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for sticking around. This has been almost an hour of talking, which is a lot. So thanks to everybody for watching. Jake, Vince, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I will catch you hopefully next week.
Same to you guys.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah.
Peace.
See ya.